Hey, good morning. It's 11:20 a.m. Happy October 1st. It's Sunday, and I decided to come in here and make a video. This video is especially for my relatives who live back east, specifically Pennsylvania. So I know that I just got some information that, I've had some relatives who were, attacking me or talking gossip about me. And I don't really know my relatives back east very well. I mean, I've met them a few times, and I've spoken to them on the phone. And most of the things that they probably know about me are probably from my ex blood relations. I'm referring to my siblings. I know there was a lot of blow up on Facebook, and I'm not going to sit here and try to, um, sugarcoat things or whatever. But I will say that my mother, your Aunt Mary or whatever, um, wasn't a very kind person. She had her moments, mind you, but I know that there's been a lot of gossip and a lot of betrayals that went on, and apparently hatred runs in the family, because if this is going to explode to that sort of magnitude, that tells me a lot about this bloodline. There's a lot of irrational behavior. I only recall talking to one male cousin, and I'm not going to mention any names, because I don't have the same animosity towards these blood relations, even though when I'm talking about my blood relations, I'm referring to cousins, uncles that are living on the East Coast, because I don't have any direct communication with these people, but I do know that everything that you've been fueled by is from my siblings. And I honestly think that if you are going to get fired up and attack someone for for gossip or whatever, then I can't really take any responsibility for that. And because you guys live at such a far distance, I really don't think that I could sweat it. However, I do think that you most likely are in communication with Karen Johnson, um, and um, and and all of this is orchestrated through like Facebook and other social platforms. I can't take responsibility for your hatred, and I can't take responsibility for the gossip that goes on. Yeah, I had a child out of wedlock, and I don't think that that's something that somebody should be punished for forever. I think maybe that you guys are feeling hatred towards me just because you feel like you need to feel hatred towards me, which is fine. But I did want to address it because I was aware that I had somebody, like I had an aunt that hated me. Like I'm thinking, okay, I don't know anybody, aunt that hates me, and the reason why she hates me is because, for whatever reason, because of the gossip. Choose that if you will. I mean, like, you can hate me if you want to, but really, when it comes down to it, the hatred really comes down to, um, you know, the individual. Like, there's really no reason for that sort of hatred. Um, I've heard that, there's been rumors that I was adopted. Maybe, I don't know. I've been wondering that, maybe I am. To me, at this point, it doesn't matter because I'm no longer living in the household of my mother and my father, and I don't have to deal with any sort of negative interactions with my mother or anything like that. So I don't really care if I'm adopted or not. But I keep thinking, well, maybe if I was adopted, maybe I might be related to, I mean, like maybe the child of maybe one of, um, um, maybe my aunt, maybe it's my aunt's child, maybe I'm the offspring of one of my aunts or something. That's a possibility. And I don't know what it is, but I've always been treated differently from the rest of the family, mainly because I think it's my intellectual abilities and my ability to kind of point out some of the things that was wrong with my mother. And I never did it in a hurtful way. It's just that, I guess she could tell by the look on my face if she said something or whatever, and I'm looking at her like, well, that's kind of, not appropriate or whatever. Um, I don't think I don't think that my mother was a very happy person, and I think from based on the stories, I remember talking to one of my aunts back in the 90s, and she was basically telling me that my mother had a lot of like attitude problems and whatever. So for you guys to take her side on this bullying thing with me, it kind of makes me wonder, are you guys just somebody who gets angry and enacts hatred just because somebody tells you that? Some people might think that I'm wealthy. I am not wealthy, and by any means. Um, and I don't know why somebody would think that. You know, at this moment, I am unemployed, mainly because of the sabotage that's been going on with my work. And what else do I want to talk about? Yeah, I do deal with depression, mainly because of having to come to the realization that my family would do something like this to me. Um, and it was unwarranted. It was not something that they should have done, you know. But I am aware of your animosity towards me, and I also understand that there's gossip that goes on about me, and I understand that maybe there's somebody who is interested in trying to copycatting me, like maybe taking my information and using it as their own, even though they want to attack me because I don't go to church, but they're willing to take my information and kind of convert it to their own, you know, which is kind of funny because it seems a little hypocritical, really. But rest assured, you know, just because I don't belong to a mainstream religion does not mean that I don't believe in God. I do believe that there is a universal power that governs this universe, and I'm quite aware of it. I just don't go to church because a lot of people that I've known throughout my life tend to really represent mainstream religion in a bad way just because they live their lives in the way that they do. There's a lot of hypocrisy that goes on, so that kind of repels me from it. As a matter of fact, you know, I understand like the term God to me is something that I use because I know it's relatable to other people, but I understand that the name God, or the title God, is kind of very wide. Like, you know, just about, there's so many different gods, okay? And it's just like a representation of, you know, it's a title. That's all it is to me. So I don't like even using the word God because so many people that I've known who live their lives in I don't know, debaucherous type manner have used it so many times that it just makes me like, oh, I don't want to be anything like that. So then I just kind of veer off in the other direction, meaning that I don't use that term. I usually say like the divine or something like that, but it's the same thing. It's just because of the bad examples of people that I've seen. It's just a turn off, you know what I mean? So, you know, judge me if you will, but I think what you're judging me on is unfair, and I don't think it's right. But I probably will not have any communication with any of you ever again, for my own well-being. But I do want to say that I'm aware of the animosity that you feel towards me, and I am aware that people had really wanted to put me down mainly because of the issue of maybe my education. And I will say that that family that I was raised in was extremely abusive. I mean, they've been abusing me since I was a kid. I remember wondering why in the world I would get like anxiety attacks, and I would feel it in my solar plexus because I kind of sensed when I was younger that pretty soon there's going to be some sort of confrontation. There's going to be some sort of explosive, you know, attack on me, you know, and I didn't know for many years exactly why or where it was coming from, but now I fully understand. I grew up in a very toxic family who started these competitions. As a matter of fact, I think that this competition was started, this so-called competition, this one-sided competition was started by my ex-family members with this girl, Selena Bruce, and the whole issue with my ex-husband. There's a lot of hatred in that family. I mean, it thrives on hatred. And I do recall going to a metaphysics shop, I think it was back in 2013, a little after I left the farmer's place, which I'm sure you guys are aware of that. I went there on a weekend day, and I was just kind of hanging out, and I was kind of pissed off that day. And I was talking about, because I believe that people in the community probably know who you guys are. And the lady who was conducting this meeting, she was basically telling me that you guys were bad people. Now, I don't know because I don't tap into you guys. I don't sit here and focus on you guys. But if you guys have anything to do with my family and you have the same kind of attitude, then I'm going to assume that you probably are. You might be, okay? I'm not going to judge you one way or the other. I'm just saying is, you know, there's a reason why she must have said that about you guys. But I'm keeping it light. But I just want to let you guys know that I am aware of that, and I do understand that you guys Not just you guys, but maybe like the whole group, this whole secret society. It's a huge secret society orchestrated probably by Karen Johnson and the employers that got behind this. Have people stalking me, have my neighbors spying on me, that kind of stuff. You're not going to see anything special. You're going to see me peeking out maybe once in a while to go get my groceries or something else. I pretty much stay in the house most of the time. And if I go for a walk, you guys have to sit there and make a big deal out of it like I'm creating some sort of crime. I'm not creating a crime. I'm not doing anything wrong. I get bored in the house and I go outside, sometimes. Today's a rainy day, so I'm kind of staying in the house. But, it's unfortunate that I was born and raised in that family, or if I was born or at least raised in that family. It's unfortunate that you guys feel as though you need to attack me, but I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? I would rather, trek this world alone than deal with people that I can't trust or I can't like or I don't respect or whatever. And it's, like I said, I remember talking to a few of my cousins back in a little around the Murray Family Farms time when I was working over there. And I remember thinking the conversation was relatively pleasant. But maybe you guys were just kind of information gathering, you know what I mean? Basically, you're probably trying to figure out what was this whole issue with me marrying my ex-husband. And when I first met him, I did tell him that I was half white. I don't remember which parent said was half white, or I think I might have said my dad was, maybe, probably. Or maybe I don't know, it was mom or dad, I don't remember. But I do remember telling him that. And I think my blood relations, as evil and wicked as they are, they went around in the entire community and told everybody this whole thing. And this community, I would say it's not as racist as it used to be, but it got people pretty fired up. And so I ended up getting attacked by this, and then my ex-husband found out, and then I think he wanted to divorce me for this reason, and I think he wanted to up his social status, so he ended up marrying this girl. And that's pretty much all I know. And then I realized that my employment was being manipulated, so I needed to run for my life. That's pretty much how the whole thing turned out. You can think I'm a bad person if you want to. You don't like the fact that I have views that you don't like. Maybe you want to hold something against me because I have more of an open mind and I'm more of a free spirit. That's your choice, okay? But I am aware of everybody that's involved in this. I am aware of the spies that go on, and I don't have a problem with confronting them if I have to. Like I said, I'm willing to go to the court system and do what I need to do if I even feel. Like I used to go outside one of my other apartments, I would go outside, and when I would go outside, another person would come outside. You know what I mean? And if just one little thing that happens, just one little fucking thing that happens, I'm going straight to the courthouse and filing those restraining orders. And believe me, I have them all filled out, ready to go for a bunch of people. I'm done with the intimidation. I don't deserve that, and I do remember I think it was back in a little bit after after my dad died? Well, it must have been after my dad died, but I do remember I had a cousin from Pennsylvania on my dad's side that came down to visit, and I remember I was just really edgy because I was dealing with a lot of harassment at work, and I had to sit there and visit my relatives, and I just wasn't into the mood for it because my work has always been the number one thing. It was my cousin and it was my aunt on my dad's side that came to visit my sister Lisa. And I was really agitated that time, and this is a great example of the kind of feeling that I always had, the tense, the nervousness, the worry, I'm worried about my job, and here we are going to my sister's house, and she's the one who's sitting here manipulating all this trauma, and then I'm supposed to sit here and be all relaxed and calm and cool and collected and have to deal with relatives. It was unfortunate because I wish that a meeting would have been a little bit better, but I've been under extreme stress, even going all the way back then, even further than that, okay? So, I'm sorry. I often think about, man, I wish that would have went a little bit better, but it couldn't. It just couldn't. I could not ever feel like I was safe. I never felt like I was comfortable. I was always worried about me losing my job. It has been a very, very long road having to deal with the trauma that my family has caused. So anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video. I'm trying to figure out, is there something else I want to add to this video really quick before I wrap it up? Yeah, I do have a lot of bad memories of what happened because, you know, that's a very long time for that to be going on. And everyone in my family betrayed me, and they encouraged like these so-called friends to betray me. But then again, you know, when I think about it, if some people were willing to betray me, then they weren't my friends in the first place. Is there something else I want to say? That's about it. I'm going to wrap this video up, and I will be back with another video sometime later. Like I said, I'm kind of iffy about this channel, but I know that there's some people who are like newly subscribed to this channel. Yeah, they're subscribing to the channel, even though I made the announcement that I'm going to be leaving this channel. But I did think that this content, since you guys are probably more likely to be on this channel than my other one, and I wanted to say it just to clear my mind and get it off my chest. Wrapping this one up. Take care.